Very good morning and thanks for joining us on the breakfast this morning. My name is Nyamgul Agaji. Today is the last but one day to the end of February, and we thank God that we have made it this far. No matter what it is, there's so much you should thank God for. Forget about the fuel price, forget about the food shortages, forget about the salaries, everything. Just think about the fact that you are alive and you made it till today. You have every reason to be thankful. Today on the show, we'll be looking at mental health services, addressing the challenges, especially here in Nigeria. And we are also going to address the Lagos Assembly crisis. We cannot get too much of it. Miranda may step down as a Conde panel shortlist 7. That is the news making the rounds now. We are going to have a member of the Youth Parliament, a National Youth Parliament, talk to us today, who is also very close to where decisions are being made. We are also going to be looking at the top trending issues for today, and then we'll go to the press to see what is available, what made it to the front pages of some of our national dailies. In the meantime, we'll take a short break and take the quote for the day. Our quote for today is from Aristotle Onassis, and it says, "The secret of business is to know something that nobody else knows." The secret of business is to know something that nobody else knows. It may not necessarily be that nobody else knows that thing, but it is you should know the strategy to bring that thing to the people who, whether they know it or not, are not applying it, are not doing anything about it. That's the secret of business. They say if you want to do business, you have to first of all identify a need. So if you identify a need, let us just assume that you are the only one who has been able to identify that need. And when you begin to work towards it, people will now come to you, people will now rush to you, people will now patronize you because you are fulfilling a need. So people may know it, but if the action is not taken to fulfill that need, then you who are taking the action are the only one who we can say really knows it. Because if you know it, you will know the importance, and if you know the importance, you will bring it to bear. And if you bring it, then people will come to make sure they satisfy a need which you are feeling. So to be able to do business and succeed, you have to be someone who will know something that others do not. Invent something, fulfill a need that others are not doing, look for a way to fulfill a need that even others are also doing, and that is the key to business. So that's the secret. If you want to go into business, know this secret and you will succeed. We'll go straight forward to the top trending issues for this morning, and the top trending issues will begin with the fact that the court rejects a request to stop corruption trial against Emefiele. The Special Offences Court in Lagos has dismissed the request to halt the corruption trial of former Central Bank of Nigeria CBN Governor Godwin Emefiele. Justice Rahman Oshodi, in a ruling on Wednesday, rejected allegations of judicial bias against him, stating they were unsubstantiated. The judge referred a 2013 decision by Chief Justice of Nigeria stating that judicial bias must be personal or based on extrajudicial reasons to justify disqualification. Emefiele's legal team, led by Olalekan Ojo, had argued for the judge's recusal, claiming bias due to a ruling allowing the prosecution to ask a leading question which the defense had objected to. However, the prosecution, represented by Rotimi Oyedepo, opposed the motion, calling it without merit. In addition to rejecting the recusal request, Justice Oshodi granted Emefiele permission to appeal the court's jurisdiction jurisdictional decision from January 8. The trial will continue on May 26. I do wish that this case will be done with, and we find conviction um, or the freedom of the former CBN governor. If he's guilty of anything, he goes for it. If he's not guilty of some of these things, then they free him of those ones and let us see the end to it. The judicial system has been burdened with a lot of things that make it so difficult to get convictions, so difficult to end cases and all that. This one, in the case of Emefiele, was the accusation that he was biased. And we've seen this a lot of times where lawyers look for things that will make the case go on and on and on and on. I don't know if it's because of the money they make out of it, or it's because they know that the longer the case gets, the less importance we attach to it, especially in Nigeria, that we are quick to forget our history. So I don't know why they keep doing this. There will be an injunction here, injunction there, one complaint from here and there, and a case that should end in a month or 6 months will be taking years upon years. I don't know if the strategy is to make sure that the case stays on until someone else, another Pharaoh that knows Joseph, comes on seat, so that everything will just go away, because it has happened before that someone who knows you just comes and then your case is dismissed and nobody hears about it anymore. Maybe this is the thing that is going on. But Emefiele is facing a lot of things, and what really comes to me whenever I hear the case of Emefiele is the fact that at some point in this life, he was like the be-all in Nigeria, whether in politics or in the financial sector or in the life of our economy. The CBN governor was the be-all. So everybody was in awe of him. Everybody was afraid of him. The decisions he made shaped Nigeria, whether for the better or for the worse, I do not know. I'm not a financial person that would know that his decisions were bad. Some of them were decisions that we applauded. We thought that it was going to help us in a lot of ways. But people who knew better said that they were just witch hunting some people. We saw, well, let me not mention some of them. Right today, he's facing his travails because of decisions he made as the CBN governor. How that will pan out, we do not know. But I'm glad that the progress is there. We're seeing progress, and in fact, I'm also glad that the judge is standing his grounds and saying that, okay, there must be XYZ conditions that can make me recuse myself, because as far as a lot of people are concerned, that's just a delay strategy and all that. So that the judge and the justice system is standing firm and making sure progress is in this case is a good thing on its own. But we wish the judiciary the will, the courage to do the needful and convict the people, not just Emefiele, convict the people who are guilty of any crime or any wrongdoing, and then free those who are innocent or do not need the kind of suffering that they are suffering right now. So we can even digress to the fact that our prisons are full of people who needlessly are languishing in jail. Some of them are awaiting trial, some of them may not be innocent, but the crime is not such a crime that they will spend as many years as they are spending right now in the Nigerian correctional facilities, and it is something that is very worrisome. The federal government keeps spending money on the people that could have been generating money for the government or to make our economy better. So something should be done about it. The justice system, the correctional facilities should be a place of reform for people. But sometimes, because of what they meet in that place, they come out as worse people than when they went in there. And I don't know how we can begin, where we can begin to make sure that this stops happening. Monitoring is a key thing when we're talking about making things right. Monitoring is a key thing, and then punishment or reward for wrongdoing or good deeds, respectively, will also be another one. For now, we're looking at Emefiele. He's facing the music for what he did. Whether he was right or wrong, let the judicial system decide, and decide fast. not just for him, but for everybody else. Now, the U.S. Consulate General in Lagos has partnered with the Field of Skills and Dreams VTE Academy to launch the Emerging Technicians Conference. This initiative aims to provide young Nigerian technicians with the necessary skills and knowledge to excel in their trades and build sustainable businesses. The conference, which includes a 6-month mentorship program, focuses on entrepreneurship, technical training, and innovation. Joellen Gorge, the acting U.S. Consul General, emphasized the importance of technical training for fostering economic resilience and creating job opportunities. She stated that supporting technicians and artisans would not only boost economic growth, but also help expand opportunities for the youth in Nigeria. The program offers practical resources, industry connections, and training in various fields such as plumbing, electrical work, and web development. Participants will gain insights into business management, branding, customer services, and accounting to help scale their businesses. Industry experts include Cynthia Guaro from the U.S. Consulate and Dr. Christina Okenla from Equinix, West Africa. They've shared valuable expertise to guide the technicians. As they continue their mentorship, the initiative aims to contribute to Nigeria's long-term economic development. The role of technology and everything else cannot be overemphasized. The role of training and retraining cannot be overemphasized. Even if you are an expert in your field, it doesn't mean that you cannot be retrained. So whatever is being said about this is very important. Sometimes, though, I just wonder, when every time they talk about empowering the youths, in a country like Nigeria, where a lot of people are late bloomers, what is done? Why is much talk not also done about people who may not necessarily be youths? And this is making a lot of people to redeclare their ages so that they can get some benefits to do one or two things. What about the middle age? What about the aged? Are there trainings that can help them to become something else? Some of them, they don't want to retire because after retiring, they don't know anything else to do. And it is idleness that kills a man, not work. Work, you may be tired every now and then, but you stop working and you're idle. That is what really kills you. After 35 years, your body is used to a particular kind of thing. After so many years, your most productive years is used to a particular thing, and then you just go home and sit idle. You have nothing to do. So training sessions, empowerment sessions, and all that should also be thought of for the people who are not necessarily youth, so that we don't need to redeclare our ages. We who are past the middle age don't need to redeclare our ages, but we're still useful in the society. Some of these people are the ones that their children will even look up to and say, okay, my father could do this, my mother could do this, so let me also follow in this footsteps. So it's never too late to train someone, hoping that that person can still contribute. It's not good enough to just write them off, a particular demographic, write them off and say, okay, you're old already, so let's look at the youth. I'm not saying it's not a good thing. Empower the youths, teach them skills, and do all the needful because they're still powerful enough to do what they need to do to contribute to the growth of our nation. But we also have these other groups of people who need these trainings as well, because they might transit from one phase of their life to the other one, and they need also an empowerment that can make them continue to live on and contribute. Because even if they cannot do anything else, they can advise people who are coming up, and then they need to live long to do this. And by living long, it means that you have to be active enough to stay healthy and to stay active and to also contribute. So while I am applauding this initiative, I'm also appealing for another demographic that might also need these things. Sometimes you talk about agriculture, you want to empower people, and you talk about youths. Some of these youths don't even have farms. We are just trying to encourage them. Some of the people who may not be in that demographic may be the ones that will actually put that knowledge to use and then use it to train the youths that you're trying to empower that do not even want to hear about it and all that. So I'm also making a case for another group of people in Nigeria. You find that funny, but it's the truth. Idleness kills. So you need to empower the youths because they have the strength to do what they need to do. You need to also empower those who are not necessarily youths, because they also need that requisite knowledge to take care of their families, to take care of themselves, to also contribute. Now, rules of the House not gender-based, says Shaibu. A former Edo State Deputy Governor, Philip Shaibu, shared that Natasha is his friend, while Senator Akpabio, the Senate President, is his political leader. He emphasized that the allocation of offices and seats in the National Assembly is guided by the House rules. According to him, lobbying is a part of the process where members can influence their office locations and seating arrangements. Drawing from his experience as a two-term member of the Edo State House of Assembly, Shaibu explained that when he arrived in Abuja, he quickly lobbied for the best office spaces and seating arrangements. He mentioned that the first-time members may not be aware of this process, which is why they may face challenges in securing favorable positions. Shaibu clarified that the allocation of offices and seats is not related to gender but to adherence to House rules. He believes there may have been some miscommunication about the matter and urged everyone to follow established procedures regardless of whether they are men or women. Well, agreement is agreement, like we say in Nigeria. If it has been decided by the House that this and that should be the way to go, well, fine. But the points that Natasha raised were also valid. She said, or she claimed, that they placed her in a place that she could just disappear into insignificance, because the sitting arrangement also matters. You have to pan and pan and pan before you can find her. If she raises a hand, it is sometimes near impossible to be recognized from where she's sitting. And so many other things that pointed to the fact that there are instruments, there may be instruments, there may be very subtle instruments in the House that will gag the people who are in opposition. And maybe that's the reason why a lot of people want to cross carpet to another political party that's in power so that they can enjoy some of these things. Like Shaibu has said, lobbying is part of it. If seating arrangement as well should be lobbied for, and then positions that you hold in the House are lobbied for. There are some people who do not have that skill of lobbying. They just want to sit and earn what they really deserve. Because if you are a senator, there are some things that you should just earn by being a senator, and not necessarily because you have the power to deceive some people or to coerce some people or blackmail some people, because all these are part of the lobbying process, to bribe some people and all that. There are things that should be earned just because you are a senator or a House of Reps member or an assembly member in your state. I think so. I don't know what made them to say you have to lobby for where you are going to sit, you have to lobby to be part of a committee, you have to lobby to do X, Y, Z. I don't know why they did that. Maybe they had a good reason, but I think there are things that you should just have as a right because you are a senator. So if the concerns of Natasha are anything to go by, then there must be a form of muzzling the people who are in the opposition, not to be seen, not to be significant enough and all that. And that is something really worrisome. So if you are in the minority, you may not have a voice. If you are not having the skill to lobby, to bribe your way, to intimidate your way, to clear your way in any way possible, then you may not have anything. And the only hope that you have is to align with the crowd. And that is not good for democracy. I know that lobbying should be a skill that every politician should have, everybody should have. But there are some people who, even if they have to lobby for their life, they may not be able to do that. I'm just saying, this is life. So let the people who are in the Senate have certain rights that they don't need to beg for. Let the people in the National Assembly not have to at least beg for a place to sit that they can be recognized. If the entire chamber is full, it's a different thing. That there are no extra seats that will be conspicuous enough to the Senate President or whoever is in charge of recognizing whoever speaks or does anything, then it should just go without saying that everybody should be in a seat that is conspicuous enough. I don't know. I don't know the standing rules and why they made those rules. But even if Natasha has to be punished for the outburst, the points that she made that made her to have that outburst should be investigated and some corrections to be made. If you are a lone voice in the National Assembly, you should not be made to move from your position because of deprivation, because they are being deprived of a lot of things. She said in one of the interviews that I read about, I think she was responding to a call from the People's Parliament or something, a radio station that claims to be for human rights. And she said that there are so many trainings that are done outside the country. And because she is where she is, she belongs to the group she belongs to, her name is always struck out, no matter how qualified she is of that. So that the seat arrangement and all that was just the last straw that broke the camel's back. So if things like that are happening, then you understand now why people will be moving from other parties to the ruling party all the time, or the party with the greatest number and all that. And it's not good for our democracy. We should have dissenting voices in some cases. You agree to disagree. That's what we say. So nobody should ever be made to be insignificant just because you do not belong to a particular party, or you cannot, or you do not have the ability to lobby. And by lobbying in Nigeria, you know the rest. So it's just a plea to the National Assembly, whatever your standing rules are, let there be some kind, especially now that you're even talking about in the House of Representatives, someone has brought a bill that people should, that people should, the National Assembly should allocate special seats for women. Just for being women, they should have that right to have those special seats and all that. That's a matter for another day. But if someone is proposing this, it means that just being a particular gender should give you some rights. And so just being a Senate member or a House of Representatives member should give you certain rights that you don't need to lobby for. So do something about that so that nobody else has to cry, so that no party will have to lose their member just because these members feel marginalized because they belong to parties that are not powerful enough in the National Assembly. That's just a plea I'm making. But whatever your standing rules are, we respect them and tender justice with mercy. Okay, so we'll take a final one. NAFDAC's DG raises alarm over life threats. The Director General of NAFDAC, Professor Mojishola Adeyeye, has expressed concern over the increasing threats to her life and the safety of the agency staff. This comes as NAFDAC officials continue their efforts to combat the trade of fake and substandard drugs across Nigeria. Adeyeye urged authorities to enhance security for her team, highlighting the dangers they face in carrying out their duties. In a recent statement, Adeyeye revealed the personal toll of the job, noting that NAFDAC staff had been directly targeted for their anti-counterfeit work. She shared a distressing example where a staff member's child was kidnapped due to the officials' refusal to engage in corrupt activities. Fortunately, the child escaped. The agency's recent crackdown led to the seizure of 87 truckloads of fake medical products worth over 1 trillion naira. Despite the growing threats, Adeyeye emphasized NAFDAC's commitment to eradicating counterfeit drugs. She stressed the need for a death penalty for those involved in the counterfeit drug trade, calling them merchants of death. Adeyeye also revealed that due to the constant threats, she now requires round-the-clock police protection. This is so understandable, and I think her call for more security for her and her team is a very, very valid one and should be looked into. These are the people that need to really be protected by the police, not just any random person with a few million naira in his bank account that moves around with police escort all the time, leaving the ordinary humans like us to be less safe than we should be. We have a Nigerian police force that is short-staffed, so to speak, and then we are using almost half of this for protection of the VIPs, and then the rest of us are just prone to kidnaps and all that. NAFDAC is doing a job that we know is very, very dangerous. We know how it is to fight drug cartels, even outside this country. Go to Colombia, go to Mexico, go to any other place where we hear about drug cartels. We know what the government faces, what security faces. Some of these people are even the ones who have bought over everyone in that place, and they rule over the people because the money is there. Illicit money, no, nonetheless, but it's still there. It's still money. And so they're so dangerous, you cross their path and you're gone. So security should be beefed up around these people, and that is what we think should really be done. Okay, so we like to congratulate the NAFDAC boss and the entire team, and we hope that you continue your work and doing it as best you can. We'll take a break now, and when we return, we'll be looking at the papers to see what the fresh headlines are today. Stay with us.